Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So we got another episode of All Money Ain't Good Money. And today, what we're going to be doing with this topic is we're going to go a little bit more deep into your pockets. You know why? Because, like we learned, many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So we're going to break that down. We're going to check out a couple reports. And what we're going to do is we're going to see exactly what that looks like, imagine exactly what that feels like, and try to come with some solutions so that that's something that we're not being like. All right. Because nobody wants to live paycheck to paycheck, especially when you have inflation and you have gas prices at a 40-year high. You know what I'm saying? We got an article here from The Hill, and this is from their Changing America series. And it says more Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, what is that an indication of? I need you guys to let me know in the comment section. What is that an indication of, that more Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? Shouts out to my man Jay Bird. What up with it, bro? What's good with you, family? As inflation continues its upward swing, consumers are finding it more difficult to manage spending and are eating into their savings as a financial pressure mounts. Okay, so you guys remember in the last episode of All Money Ain't Good Money, we talked about how most Americans are now diving into their savings in order to pay their bills because the cost of living is so high that expenses in most cases have exceeded income and revenues, which is a situation that is going to drive you where? I'm going to need you guys to finish my sentences for me in the comment section. All right. Shouts out to my man Carlton Way. What up with it, Carlton? Got my man Honda 666. What's good with y'all? What's going on with it, bro? All right. So this is not a good situation. A report from the Lending Club Corporation found that the number of Americans living paycheck to paycheck increased to 61% in June, up from 55% a year prior. So now my thing is that's a bad indicator both this year and last year. Over half of America is living paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? Let me just ask you guys a question. What percentage of America do you all think will be able to withstand and survive a severe depression? What do you guys think? How many? What's the percentage? Let your boy know. The largest short-term increase in consumers living paycheck to paycheck was among those earning between 100,000 and 150,000 annually, rising by 11 percentage points from May to June. So this is high tier earners. In YouTube language, this is the minimum tier of high value. Shouts out to RG Titan. I think everyone within reason can say that we're all living paycheck to paycheck because none of us are rich. Some of us may even be in that category where we're dipping into our savings or dipping into whatever we can find to pay the bills. And there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. As you guys can see, that's a majority of Americans. The majority of Americans can barely afford to breathe. Shouts out to my man Bronze the God. What up with it, bro? Around 40% of workers earning between 150,000 and 200,000 said they were living paycheck to paycheck in the same time frame. So now if workers who are earning $100,000 to $200,000 are living paycheck to paycheck, my question for everybody is, what's the economy look like for people who make $100,000 and below? Shout out to my man Al. What up with it, bro? More Americans are living paycheck to paycheck as average savings decline and consumer savings are rising, according to a recent report. So let's break this sentence down. Why are average savings declining? Why are average savings declining? The report from the Lending Club Corporation found that the number of Americans living paycheck to paycheck increased to 61% in June, up from 55% a year prior. What a difference a year makes. Last summer, we were all worried about how quickly the economy would recover. Now, as inflation continues its upward swing, consumers are finding it more difficult to manage spending and are eating into their savings as financial pressures mount, said Anju Nehar, Lending Club's financial health officer, in a news release. All right. That said, consumers are not yet slowing down their spending habits. Now, here's my question. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? If you're already overspending your income and you're not slowing down your spending habits, where is that going to send you? No, Bronze, you're only allowed to identify as a birthing person. That's it. Only a birthing person. You know what I'm saying? All other identification is unauthorized. Despite the rise in cost of living, not only is it going to be difficult for them to handle future emergency expenses, but even even foreseen payments like education, student loans, housing expenses may be harder for them to balance for the everyday American consumer. America is changing faster than ever. That's another part of that thing there. These are also short term changes in America's financial outlooks, as average savings are falling quickly, according to the report. Now, again, this is the second time I'm asking this question. Why are savings falling? We have to break this down mathematically so we understand what's going on with our money, why our income and our savings are decaying. We have to understand where the money is going in order to prevent it from going there and keep it where we want to keep it. All right. So now my question for everybody is, why are the savings decreasing? Give me your best answer in the comment section why the savings are decreasing, because that's important. That's an important indicator. Why are the savings decreasing? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 5 likes. Shouts out to everybody who's watching the video. We got 10 live viewers. If everybody takes a moment and smashes that like button, we'll be at 15 likes. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, take a moment, make sure that you guys smash the like button. Also, make sure you guys share the video out. All right. Where's the money going? Where's your savings account going? The report shows a $517 decline from $11,724 in May of 2022 to $10,757 in June of 2022. Meanwhile, the largest increase in consumers living paycheck to paycheck was among those earning between $100,000 and $150,000 annually, rising by 11 percentage points from May to June 22nd. Around 41% of workers earning between $150,000 and $200,000 said they were living paycheck to paycheck. So now here's my question. What does this mean? In my opinion, one thing that I see when I look at these figures is that as the racial wealth gap increases, the classes are falling apart. There seems like there's going to be an upper class and a lower class. The savings are depleting because people are going into their savings to spend money on their expenses because the cost of living is higher. Does that make sense? Shout out to Robin. What up with it, Robin? So we have to take a look at how this applies to our life. We go to the store and we buy goods. During this time, we're not getting any raise. Despite the fact that we're not getting any raise, the price of what we buy each time we go to the store increases. Our bills, electric bill, increases. We're not getting a raise. So if you were already on a tight budget, the inflation has now pushed you up over your budget. So now, in order to pay your basic bills, you got to find money from somewhere. So if you have liquid savings, you go into your savings. Not a good situation, because eventually your savings is going to disappear, because as you're going into your savings to pay bills, that means that you're not replenishing it either, right? So basically you're on a timer, and the timer is up when your savings is at zero. And if you're constantly going into your savings to pay your basic bills, if you don't make any budgetary adjustments, inevitably you'll be at zero at some point in the future. You don't want to be going towards zero. Just like the racial wealth gap should not be going towards zero. Carlton says, might got to start an OnlyFans. Listen, man, if you're a woman, go for it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how that works out for men unless you got a hot girlfriend that's about it. You know what I'm saying? An estimated 13% of American consumers reported spending more than they earned in the past 6 months. The Paycheck to Paycheck Report Consumer Savings Edition is based on a survey of 3,583 U.S. consumers, which was conducted from June 8th to June 27th. All right. So now here's my question. This is a daunting report, in my opinion. This report right here does not give me any comfort that there's going to be any kind of economic turnaround. This report was for people who make between $100,000 and $200,000. So my question for everybody is, what is it looking like for everyone else? What is it looking like for everyone else? In my opinion, it's probably not looking very good. So my question is, how do you counteract these economic effects in order to try to maintain at least some quality of living? How does that work? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know what to do. Shout out to my man Al, who just joined the membership. Drop some radiation emojis. And you guys see the Nightbot just put the link in. Anybody who wants to join the membership, feel free. Go ahead and hit that membership. I've adjusted the memberships on here. It's only 99 cents. You guys see how Bronze still has his badge from when he first became a member. Anybody who was a member before, you'll get your old badge back. All right. So anybody that wants to become a member, you guys know that definitely helps the channel. That link just came in the comment section. It'll come back. Make sure you guys also smash that like button and show some love to Al McCowan, because without the members, without the Patreons, your boy wouldn't be able to provide content as frequently as I do. I wouldn't be able to provide it at the quality that I do either. So give some shouts out to the members and the Patreon, because they're the lifeblood and the heartbeat of the platform. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to look at another Paycheck to Paycheck article. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. What up with it, bro? And this is an article from CBS. All right. And I'm not sure if this is an old article or if this is a new article, but it's got slightly different figures than that report that we just read. But it says 20% of people making $200,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. It seems like as you go up the tier, there's just people living paycheck to paycheck all over the place. Now, my question is, why is that? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, take a wild guess what just happened. My computer screen just froze. So I got a question for you guys. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys can't, give me a thumbs down. All right, there we go. We back. Shout out to Carla. What up with it, Carla? What's good with you? All right, so let me get this back up on the screen. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can't hear me, give me a thumbs down. All right, here we go. 20% of people earning $250,000 per year live paycheck to paycheck. So I was wrong. It's even higher than I expected. $250,000. 20% of those people are living paycheck to paycheck. What do you guys think about that? So now here it says low wage workers aren't the only group of Americans regularly spending the most or all of their paychecks. A greater share of Americans who earn more than $250,000 annually are spending all of what they bring in, compared with workers earning less than $100,000, according to a new analysis from the Bank of America Institute. To be sure, people who are truly living paycheck to paycheck tend to be lower down the income ladder, the company said. But the findings also show that a significant share of workers at all income levels spend all of their income or more. So this is interesting because as you climb up the social ladder, as you climb up the income ladder, what it seems like is you can still fall into that trap of living paycheck to paycheck. People aren't spending their money wisely. People are not spending the money wisely. So now here it says in any given income group, there is a slug of people that look like they're financially quite stretched in terms of their outgoings relative to their incomings. So now this is important. Here's my question for everybody that's watching. How many times have you guys assessed your income versus your expenses? Have you all ever just took a moment to sit down and calculate all of the money that you have going out and compare it to the amount of money that you have coming in? If you guys have done that before, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't done that before, give me a thumbs down. Let your boy know. Okay. And it looks like my computer froze up again. So I don't know if everybody can hear me or if everybody can see me. Hopefully, you guys can. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to define what paycheck to paycheck means. All right. Because apparently it's just not common sense. We need to define. All right, we back. We back. We back. We back. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can't hear me, give me a thumbs down. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Give yourselves some radiation emojis. Give yourself some radiation emojis. You know what I'm saying? So now let's check this out. We're gonna start this over again. I apologize, y'all. 20% of people earning $250,000 per year live paycheck to paycheck. Low-wage workers aren't the only group of Americans regularly spending most or all of their paychecks. A greater share of Americans who earn more than $250,000 annually are spending all of what they bring in, compared with workers earning less than $100,000, according to a new analysis from the Bank of America Institute. So we should check this out. To be sure, people who are truly living paycheck to paycheck tend to be down lower on the income ladder, the company said. But the findings also show that a significant share of workers at all income levels regularly spend all of their income or more. Now, here's my question. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? Because in my opinion, if you ask me, it seems absurd to make that much money and be living paycheck to paycheck. It seems absurd. Now, I get it if you've got things like college loans and, medical expenses and different things like that, because that stuff is expensive. That stuff is extremely expensive. And when you come down to it, and if you got a family, that money spends extremely quickly. Hey, that's how I be sometimes, Jay. All right, bro. I'll catch you later. Mismanaged finances. Yeah, I agree, Cameron. And everybody drop some radiation emoji to Cameron. Shouts out to my man Cameron. My man Cameron joined the Patreon, which really helps. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, Cameron, if you downloaded the app or not, but if you join Patreon and download the app, it gives you another notification when I drop a YouTube video. Remember, guys, on Patreon, you'll have access to all of my videos, because you guys remember, every 30 days I hide videos. You know what I'm saying? I hide the lower performing videos, and eventually it'll cycle to where all the videos end up getting hidden, but they'll be open for everybody on Patreon. So if you want access to all of the videos, hit the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, or $5.99 a month in the chat. You know what I'm saying? It's pasted into the comments. And remember, as I build that up and I'm able to put more into the platform, trust me, you guys will be starting to see some new things, some better things. You guys see the channel that me and TD are building. You know what I'm saying? We and me are going to do some big things. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you guys are the heartbeat and the lifeblood of the platform. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, in any given income group, there's a slug of people that look like they're financially quite stretched in terms of their outgoings relative to their incomings. David Tinsley, senior economist for the Bank of America Institute, told CBS Money Watch. Now, what we're going to do here is define paycheck to paycheck. All right. So before we get into this, why don't you guys define paycheck to paycheck? Define paycheck to paycheck for me in the chat. What is paycheck to paycheck? What does that mean? When you guys hear that term paycheck to paycheck, what does that mean? Yeah, download the Patreon app, Cameron, on your phone, on your tablet. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, Bank of America economist tapped anonymized client data to look at customers' deposit accounts in the first quarter of 2022, zeroing on inflows of cash like income and other deposits, as well as outflows such as credit card payments. So now what they did basically is they did a person to person, on a consumer level, cash flow analysis. How many of you guys know what a cash flow analysis is? If you guys know what a cash flow analysis is, give me a thumbs up and give me the definition in the comment section. Let's check this out. Now you know we're gonna have to deal with a you know we're gonna have to deal with an ad. You know we're gonna have to deal with an ad. There we go.
The highest inflation rate in more than 40 years is pushing many Americans past their financial limits. In tonight's Eye on America, CBS's Adriana Diaz meets one family that's been forced to take out high-interest loans just to afford the gas they need to take their daughter for life-saving medical treatment.
15-year-old Ginger Vincent's health depends on a key calculation.
Do we have enough gas to do it? Because we got appointments on Wednesday, appointments on Thursday.
Ginger, who lives for sports, was diagnosed with bone cancer more than a year ago.
The first thought that I had was, don't cry. I was in front of my parents and I wanted to be strong for them.
It's just hard to see her like that. She was so healthy and vibrant. Smart. Just to see her wasting away in bed.
Parents Keith and Annalisa Vincent have watched Ginger go through chemo and multiple surgeries, even lung surgery just last week.
Physical therapy,
Ginger's
CT scan.
Ginger's appointments, including physical therapy, are at times more than an hour away from her home.
So now here's my question, right? So they're talking about spending money on gas, but my question for you guys is, how much do you guys think that her medical bills are?
In rural Indiana. With gas prices more than doubling in the past year, the family now spends more than $200 a week on gas. Money they don't always have.
Let's pay the mortgage first. Let's pay the majority of the bills. But at the end of the day, I said, wait a minute, we do not have money for gas.
You've been in that situation?
Oh yeah.
So I end up like going to instant cash. That's our best friend right now.
Instant cash?
Instant cash.
Those are short-term, high-interest loans they need to afford transportation to Ginger's appointments.
Thank you.
They've cut back on groceries, a sacrifice not lost on their daughter.
Having to watch them, we have to pay this bill, we have to pay that, and I'm downstairs and I hear all of that. It just seems so stressful and I just feel bad for them.
The Vincents say they're keeping their eyes on what matters.
People have certain bickerings, everyday trials. Oh, rent, food, but you kind of like work it out. When you got cancer, that kind of stuff fades away.
We're not worried about, even though we can't afford certain things.
So we got a definition for paycheck to paycheck in the comment section. Carla says all of your pay is spent by the next paycheck and you have nothing in your account. If you guys agree with that definition, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Cameron says those loans make you go into the hole quick. Payday loans are predatory to say the least, y'all, says RG Titan. Facts. Those are horrible loans. They got like 30% interest rate and they'll take your stuff. And they're doing it for gas. Now, here's my question, guys. How do you think that they're paying for the medical treatments? Because that chemo and all that stuff, that radiation and the testing, that's got to be expensive.
The big picture is her.
For Eye on America, I'm Adriana Diaz in Monterey, Indiana.
All right, so there's that. So now here it says those on lower incomes are likely to be most challenged by rising inflation and economic uncertainty, the report stated. Those on lower incomes. So now here's where it all comes together. Who are the people on the lower ends of the income? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Roots Tracker. Greeting, not able to pay yourself and going into debt. Yeah, facts. But as we dig into the data, we find there are small but significant groups living paycheck to paycheck at even higher income levels and indeed across the age distribution. The bank notes that living paycheck to paycheck doesn't necessarily mean that someone is barely able to afford necessities like food and gasoline. Defined more narrowly, it can mean that a person is simply spending the lion's share of the income on ordinary expenses. So now here's my question. How many people find themselves spending the majority of their income on ordinary expenses? Probably a pretty high percentage. Now, here's my question. How do you avoid getting yourself into a situation? And if you're in a situation like that, when the economy is at a standstill and inflation and gas prices are at an all-time high, how do you work your way out of that? How do you work your way out of that? That's what's important. Getting out of that situation, because that is a predatory situation where your income is decaying. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 15 live viewers. Shouts out and thank you to all 15 people that are watching. And we got 13 likes. If everybody can take a moment and bang on that like button and also share the video out, that would be great. Meanwhile, the analysis only looks at account activity over a single quarter, and it also doesn't take into account workers who count on large bonuses that arrive at the end of the year. Upper income clients could also be paying for a mortgage on a house or depositing a portion of their incomes into brokerage or investment accounts, Tinsley noted. You have people sending money to brokerage accounts or people paying their mortgages. So you could be on $250,000 and have borrowed a lot of money in order to afford property. And that would definitely put your outgoings very close to your incomings, Tinsley said. So now what I find fascinating is that what you're seeing is that higher earning people are starting to go into debt faster. And what that says is that if these high earners are going into debt this fast, my question is, what's going on with everybody else? Because everybody else would be the majority. Everybody else would make up the majority. So we've talked enough, in my opinion, not necessarily enough, but we'll get back to them later, about the high earners that are living paycheck to paycheck. So now what I think we should shift our attention to for now is the effects that this is having on lower income earners. Low earners were hit hardest by inflation as savings and pandemic aid dwindle, study finds. Now, do you guys remember when the pandemic first hit and people were warning, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't put out all this money because when the pandemic ends, we're going to have rebound inflation. Do you guys remember that? And shouts out to Robin and Battle for answering the night bot. That definitely helps. When the bots ask you guys questions, make sure you guys answer. That's allegedly supposed to help with the engagement. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Low earners. Now, here's my question. What do you guys think they qualify as a low earner? What qualifies as a low earner? Let's throw some numbers around. Now, if you're a low earner, that means that you're susceptible to being hit the hardest by inflation. Not a good situation. Cameron says 25K is a low earner. Or I'm sorry, 250K is a low earner. AB Promotion says 25K is a low earner. Sorry, Roots Tracker. I misgendered you. My worst fear, you know what I'm saying? My apologies. So now here it says increased costs for the lowest earners were more than triple their annual wage growth in 2021. 1,837 versus 578 respectively. Okay. Look at this. What does this mean? Increased living costs for lowest earners were more than triple their annual wage growth. So the cost of living increased 1,837 and their wage growth was only 578. Imagine this on top of what we talked about in the last episode, the gentrification, and inflation, and rising gas prices. What do you guys think? Bad, 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 bad. Respectively, according to a report that was published by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. Middle and high earners largely broke even or came out ahead. Savings for the lowest income Americans are still elevated but dwindling as they spend down federal benefits like stimulus checks and child tax credit payments, according to the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute. The lowest income Americans are facing a financial conundrum. Inflation is eating into a substantial part of their household budgets, while savings built up during the COVID pandemic are starting to dwindle. Now, let's pause this. Now, I need you guys to answer this in the comment section. What effect will this have on the racial wealth gap? What effect will this have on the racial wealth gap? That's the question. That's what I need you guys to let me know about. That's what I need you guys to answer for me. What effect will this have on the racial wealth gap? Meanwhile, federal supports like monthly payments of the child tax credit and a pause on student loan payments have ended or will soon lapse, and officials have already warned of delayed tax refunds, which low earners generally rely on more than high earning families. So now here's my question. Why is there going to be delayed tax refunds? Many people rely on those tax refunds. I would have to, everybody that's saying widen, I'd have to agree with that. I'd have to agree with it's going to widen it. Because if wealth is based on liquid income and part of your liquid income is savings, if you're going into your savings and your wages are decreasing because inflation is increasing, you're not building any wealth. And if you're not building any wealth and everything is getting more expensive, then the wealth gap is going to increase. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense, give me a thumbs down. To make the suffering worse, to more like to make the suffocation worse. Coffee says a certain group of people are going to zero net worth. That's a fact. Shouts out to my man Crypto Key. So now we're going to talk about inflation. Consumer prices in January rose from 7.5% from a year earlier, the fastest annual pace in 40 years, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. What is inflation accelerating at a rate of 7.5% doing to the racial wealth gap? What is an accelerated inflation doing to the racial wealth gap? However, households don't feel the price shocks equally. The lowest income working households, which earn less than $20,000 a year, faced the highest inflation rate of any group in 2021, according to an analysis by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. So now here's my question. Who do you think the majority group of people is within this lowest income working households group? That means that if you were the poorest people, you felt the highest amount of inflation. If you are among the poorest of people, you felt the highest inflation. Now, my question for everybody is, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about it? Not very good, huh? Not that good. So this literally puts it into a graphic picture, a visual readout for you. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. For real. Appreciate it, Yara. I hope I said that right. The world is correct. Facts. AB Promotion gets it. The world is correct. Look at it. We're looking at the math. These families funneled more of their budgets to necessities like energy, transportation, prices of which grew more rapidly than other goods and services, which is why they felt inflation the most, because that's what they're putting most of their money into. If most of your money is going into necessities and necessities based on commodities are skyrocketing, you're getting hit with raw economic inflation with no buffer. You getting it straight, no chaser. Like Method Man said, that shit'll give your chest hairs a perm. It's like Method Man said, that shit'll give your chest hairs a perm. You know what I'm saying? No OJ, no straw. When you give it to me, kid, give it to me raw. It burn. For real. Look at this. So we could probably use our common sense to imagine that high earners fare better. Meanwhile, the lowest paid workers were the beneficiaries of the biggest wage growth last year, as restaurants and other generally lower paying employers compensated for scarce talent. But higher costs of living for the lowest earners were more than triple their extra average pay, their extra annual pay. So pay very close attention to this. All right. Higher costs for lower earners were more than triple their extra annual pay. Their costs were $1,837. Their extra pay was $578. So they were outspending their earnings based on cost of living versus wage increase by damn near $1,300. And that's before you even add in any, that's before you add in the existing costs that they already had. That's just looking at the cost of living versus their wage increase. Respectively, according to the Wharton School report published Tuesday. This dynamic means that the lowest earners felt a decline in purchasing power in 2021. You guys remember when we talked about that a long time ago? Man, them old Ukraine videos. Those old videos about Ukraine are coming back to haunt y'all. How many people remember what purchasing power parity is? Remember what I told you guys back in the day? You want to protect your purchasing power, not collect paper money. Maintain purchasing power. Deja vu? Sound familiar? You guys remember that? I told you we'd see it again. Real shit. RG Titan, you know, you was there. Now, how do we talk about that way back then? when we were talking about Ukraine and Russia, right at the beginning of Ukraine and Russia. What do that have to do with all this? I told you guys we'd be here. And here we are. How many of you guys remember those streams? Yeah, is that Yaira or Yaira? Yaira? If you guys remember those streams, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember those streams, I'd suggest you watch them. There's a playlist called The Russia Report. Binge watch that playlist. The dynamic means the lowest earners felt a decline in purchasing power in 2021, unless they were able to supplement earnings with other incomes like government benefits, according to Alexander Arnon, Zahili Zioyuk's son, who co-authored the report. Unless they were able to supplement earnings with other income. So what it seems like is going into the future, a side hustle will be necessary for survival. What it seems like, guys, is that a side hustle will be necessary for survival. So it might not be a bad idea for people to start looking at side hustles. Now is a good time, in my opinion, to try to work on becoming an entrepreneur. Looking for ways of earning residual income is all important. That is what people need to do. Otherwise, the poorhouse is going to turn into a tenement building. Side hustle will be a must. Yeah, side hustle will be an essential hustle. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 18 people watching. Shouts out and thank you to all 18 people that are watching. If everybody can take a moment and smash that like button, we'll be at 40 likes. So please make sure you guys take a moment and smash that like button. If you guys haven't subscribed, hit that bell icon. Also, make sure you guys share the video out. The days of the lemonade stand are back. Facts. Facts. The days of the lemonade stand are back. So now here it says high earners fared better. Most household with $20,000 to $100,000 of annual income roughly broke even, while those with more than 100,000 came out ahead, according to the analysis. Well, we would assume that, right? We would assume that. Look, I ain't even mad at you, AB. I get it. I might mess around and disappear for a hot second. You know what I'm saying? Your boy got to do a side hustle. You know what I mean? Your boy got to find a side hustle. For example, those households with more than $150,000 of income saw their annual wage growth outpacing rising costs of living by roughly $2,000. Look at that. Or $7,431 versus $5,483. Their wage growth outpaced cost of living. So see, when it came to the lower earning people, their wage growth was below. Their wage growth was outpaced by the cost of living. When it comes to these higher earning people, their wage growth outpaced the cost of living. You see that? So the higher the earner you were, your wage growth kept you safe. If you were a lower earning person, Your wage growth virtually did nothing but kept you in debt. Like ear. Oh, Yaira. Okay, I got you. Okay, Yaira. Got you. Okay. So now here it says, it may sound counterintuitive that the higher earner came out ahead if their wage growth lagged that of the lowest paid, but their raises came out on top of higher starting incomes, amounting to more money in dollar terms than the lower earners. Plus, high paid workers were more likely to remain employed throughout the year and work full time, according to the study. Yeah, because if you're doing a percentage of a high earning, it's going to be a higher dollar amount. If you're doing a high percentage of a high earning, it's going to be a higher dollar amount. 3% of 1,000 is larger than 3% of 100. 3% of 1,000 is higher than 5% of 100. So that's how you get that effect. Savings. Furthermore, than 90% of households with incomes below 20,000 spent more money than they earned from working in 2021. What does that mean? That's vital. That is crucial to understand. I'm going to need everybody in the comment section to answer that question for me. What does that mean? Furthermore, 90% of households with incomes below $20,000 spent more than they earned from working in 2021, according to the research, meaning many may have had to borrow or spend from savings to finance their lifestyle. And research suggests low earners who saw their savings grow during the pandemic may soon deplete that cash buffer. So now why would they deplete it? They would deplete it because they don't have any more COVID money. Cost of living is going up. So these people are really about to get hit hard. So now here's my question. What do you think is going to happen? Do you guys think that crime is going to go up? Price is going to go up? Foreclosure is going to go up? Repossession is going to go up? What's going to happen? Give me some suggestions of what's going to happen. So now here it says savings among the lowest income families were still 65% above the pre-pandemic levels by the end of 2021, according to a JP Morgan Chase Institute analysis. All right, so we'll check this out at some point. Published on Wednesday. The households represent the bottom fourth of earners with take-home income below about $26,000. And I mean, can you imagine trying to live with that and deal with a family and other expenses that you may have? Can you imagine that? What's that gonna look like? That's not gonna look good. People will be living in FEMA towns. They're gonna be playing that disco song, FEMA Town. FEMA Town. They'll be playing that disco shit. Not good. So now here it says their accounts were mainly boiled by the government benefits like the stimulus checks. And that's what we said. Monthly payments of the child tax credit since July and enhanced unemployment benefits. And all of this is just fake money for the most part. That's not continuous that they got from COVID. This is all supplementary money that the government paid out that has no long-term sustenance. It has no long-term sustenance. So guess what the government did? When the government paid out all of this money as a result of C-19, what they did was they created a bubble. They created a bubble. And at some point, that bubble would have to pop. And more than likely, that bubble would pop when the money is gone, because immediately people's income and people's savings is going to start to deplete. So the government kind of set this problem up on its own, because what they were doing was they, in the short term, changed people's cost of living, and then suddenly, poof, took it away. Now, people had been living on that, and do you think that people are able to make an easy adjustment from that? Probably not. Probably not. So now we've created a situation where people are used to living at a certain income, and now they're not. And now everything is going to start to collapse. What happens when everybody starts freaking out and everything starts to collapse? That's the question. So now here it says, but their balances had been 120% higher in March of 2021 relative to 2 years earlier, suggesting a savings decline, according to the analysis. They're still elevated, but clearly on a downward trend for lower income families, according to Fiona Grieg, co-president of the Institute and co-author of the study. So now let's take some things into perspective. We've been talking about we need to have a think tank, right? Let me ask you this question. Do we need to have a think tank for just one thing, or do we need to have a think tank for multiple things? And if you're somebody that thinks that we need to have a think tank for multiple things, list all of the things in the comment section that you think we should have a think tank for. Shit, I think crime will go up before things collapse. Shit, it's going up now. I think we might have a 40-year high with particular kinds of crimes too. I can I can definitely tell you with 100% certainty that white on white crime is out of control. It always is. That's one thing that I can tell you about crime for sure. If I don't know anything else about crime, the one thing that I do know is that white on white crime is out of control. Oh, man. But their balances had been 120% higher in March of 2021 relative to 2 years earlier, suggesting a savings decline, according to the analysis. They're still elevated, but clearly on a downward trend for lower income families, according to Fiona Grieg, co-president of the Institute and co-author of the study. That implies that the pace of their income isn't quite keeping up with the pace of their expenditure, she added. So now here's my question. It seems like one way to possibly deal with this is to be able to control changing gears. Well, those Mexicans, Coffee, are not very happy about Americans fleeing the border. I don't know if you checked out the last episode of All Money Ain't Good Money, but we talked about Americans going to Mexico. It's not being received very well by the Mexicans. Americans going to Mexico are really messing up the economy down there because they're creating pockets of pseudo wealth that's pricing the native Mexicans out of their places where they live. And we know there's only one group of people that welcome and allow people to do that to them. It's not Mexicans. Just put it that way. So now here it says, plus their savings, look at this. Their savings amounted to just under $1,300 $1,500 at the end of 2021, which is not a huge amount of cash on hand that will fuel spending for months and months, Grieg said. Expiring federal aid may stress their accounts more. Monthly child tax credit payments lapsed at the end of 2021, and federal student loan payments are scheduled to resume in May. So now, what this means right here is exactly what we just talked about. What this means right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what we just talked about. What you're seeing is people who had gotten used to living off the money that the government was providing are now having the rug snatched from under them, and they're having a hard time sustaining. That's not a good thing, because what that's going to cause is that's going to cause a shock for their income. They're now going to experience how truly in debt they are. And it's not certain if they'll be able to tolerate it. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 22 live viewers. Shouts out to all 22 people watching. If everybody smashes that like button, we'll have 43 likes. If we get to that 43 likes, we'll be at that 1-to-1 ratio. So please make sure, if you haven't smashed the like button, take a moment to smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't shared the video out or subscribed yet, hit the bell. So now here it says, conversely, savings have been relatively stable for the highest earners with more than $65,000 of income. During the pandemic, according to JP Morgan, their balances remain about 30 to 35% over 2019 levels, or nearly $7,000 total. Okay. Higher earners were less likely to qualify for certain government assistance. Their elevated savings were largely courtesy of reduced spending during the pandemic on things like travel and entertainment. So, what do you guys think about that? Look at this graph right here. Wage growth versus inflation 2021 by income group. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Shouts out to Cynthia. What up with it? Let me ask you guys a question. What would the racial breakdown of this article look like? Yaira says, think tank, emergency preparedness. That's a good one. If you guys like that think tank, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. Emergency preparedness is definitely a good one, if you ask me. Since what people seem to be most concerned about is the racial wealth gap approaching zero, it would seem to me that what people would want is a financial think tank. I would think that people would want a financial think tank, money management think tank, business and income and revenue generation think tank. A GDP war map to see what percentage of the GDP that we can corner and call ours. That's leverage. So now look at this graph. What would this look like if this was broken down by race instead of by income? Where would people fall? What would this graph look like? 9 areas of people activity think tank. That's a great one, AB Promotions. Under 20,000. Cost of living increased $1,837. Annual household earnings increased $578. Are people under 20,000 going into their savings account to pay bills? Yes or no? Are people who are earning under $20,000 going into their savings account to pay bills? Yes or no? Now, what you guys need to pay very close attention to is look graphically, look at how hard the people under $20,000 got hit. People making 20,000 to 39,000 barely, just barely increased their earnings over the increase in cost of living. Just barely. $40,000 to $59,000, not so much. Cost of living increased more so than their income did. 60,000 to 99,000, their income increased more than cost of living. 100,000 to 149,000, their income increased more than cost of living. 150,000 and over, income increased more than cost of living. If cost of living increased more than your income did, you're in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. That's not a good thing at all. And you know what's crazy? That right there is exactly what's causing the racial wealth gap. Black people as a collective are moving in that direction that $20,000 group is moving in. That's bad. And what's even worse is that it seems like people aren't really acknowledging it. It's just like, oh, well. I mean, it's oh, well now until it's not. 36% of consumers earning $250K plus now live paycheck to paycheck. It's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. With inflation driving up costs everywhere, consumers in all income brackets, including those who make more than $250,000 annually, live paycheck to paycheck. Why? Why? Does that make any sense? Payments research finds that 61% of U.S. consumers lived paycheck to paycheck in April of 2022, a 9 percentage point increase from 52% in April of 21. This increase means approximately 3 in 5 U.S. consumers devote nearly all their salaries and expenses with little to nothing left at the end of the month. Yet and still, plane tickets are sold. People are buying alcohol. People are going to Disneyland. People are traveling. They're living their best life, eating out every day. How? My man AB Promotion says, in my opinion, we know it's happening. A lot of us are lost on what to do. So now here's my question. What are people who are lost on what to do doing? In most cases, if you're driving somewhere and you're lost, you go to a gas station and ask for directions. Nowadays, that's kind of unheard of. You just turn on your phone and use the navigation. So that means that if you're lost, then you need to navigate, right? So now if you're having issues with where your money's going, then more than likely the first thing that you need to do is look at where your money's going, right? That'll be the first step. So for somebody who's lost on why their financial situation is the way that it is, I'd say pay very close attention to how much money you make. Start a spreadsheet and then add up all of your expenses. Disney, the most magical place on the planet. Yeah, that's because it'll make your money disappear. You know what I'm saying? And there's birthing people there. Birthing people is magical. It has to be magical. It's definitely not scientific. So now here it says our data also reveals that slightly more than 1 in 3 consumers annually earning $250,000 or more currently are living paycheck to paycheck. All money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. Birthing people. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my birthing people. These top earning consumers handle their financial lifestyles in interesting ways. It's more like irresponsible ways. However, they are associated with stronger credit scores and more intense credit usage and are likely to moderate their cash flows. Those earning more than $250,000 are 40% more likely to use financial products than consumers in the lowest bracket. And as many as 63% of them have an above average credit score that exceeds 750 points. So what they're saying is that this may or may not be accurate for these people in this higher echelon of $250,000 because what appears to be expenditures may actually be them moving money in investments. Shout out to my man, Ricky Jones. The system is designed to keep you broke. That's a fact, which is why it's important for us to understand that design and look for weaknesses in it, because there's always weaknesses. So now here it says, these are just some of the findings to emerge from this edition of New Reality Check, the Paycheck to Paycheck Report, a payments and lending club collaboration. The High Earners Edition examines the financial lifestyle of the growing share of high income U.S. consumers who live paycheck to paycheck and the impact on their ability to access credit and other expense management. Now, this is what I want you guys to pay very close attention to. Racial wealth gap. Shout out to my man Keith. What up with it, bro? Racial wealth gap. Now, to me, what this shows is that there's another racial wealth gap that people aren't talking about. Because how are you making $250,000 but you're living paycheck to paycheck? So you have to pay very close attention and strategize, and you can also quantitatively ease these things, right? You don't have to necessarily earn all the money. You just have to make up the ratios. So now if a certain group of people is moving towards living paycheck to paycheck, it would seem like a way that we can offset that and be competitive with the racial wealth gap is for us to decrease spending and increase savings, increase investment, increase asset ownership. How do we do that? Intelligent investment, entrepreneurship, selling products to a wide audience. If they are living paycheck to paycheck and we move away from living paycheck to paycheck, moving in those opposite directions should make some movement on the racial wealth gap, shouldn't it? In theory. My man Cameron Jones says broke people are in perpetual consumption. Are broke people in perpetual consumption, or are broke people perpetually consuming? we can flip it. Facts. And people may not be rich, but the momentum will shift. And as the momentum shifts and we come up with products that we can market specifically to them while they're spending their money, we can increase the money in our pockets while pushing them more towards a negative income balance. Because that's what's happening to us right now. That's what's being done to us. Hence that effect that we saw of the lower tier $20,000 group of people getting hit with inflation the most. That's designed like that, like Ricky Jones said. There's a permanent floor that's supposed to be there. That what you just saw is the lock and key. That's the design for the permanent floor. You see how these things react with the economy organically? If you're poor, when there's inflation, you're hit the hardest, which means that you're in quicksand. That's one of the reasons why anytime there's a government stimulus, I never take advantage of it. I didn't get any money for COVID. I didn't take advantage of any of those stupid ass stimulus checks, even all the way back to George Bush, because I know what that shit is. That's the reason why we're all over the place as well as far as Ukraine and Taiwan. Because if you take a microeconomics class and a macroeconomics class, those classes will teach you all of the factors of production. What produces a GDP? War produces an increase in GDP. International tensions increase GDP. So what I'd advise everybody to do is take a micro and macroeconomics class. All of this stuff will become very clear to you. Understand what purchasing power parity is. Understand monetary policy. Understand foreign policy. It's not taught in any schools. It's taught in college. You got to go, you can at least go to a community college and take a micro and macroeconomics class. They don't teach that shit in high school. They don't teach it in school grades 1 through 12. That's shit that people have to do on their own. If you don't take any classes, micro and macroeconomics are important classes for people to take. And there's many people that are successful that come from poor schools. Going to a poor school isn't an excuse for anything. The only thing that a poor school that you go to is an excuse for is for you to magnify your success, because you should be driven by going to that shitty ass school to get out of those conditions. I went to a community college. Community college is just fine. They teach just as good as a state-sponsored school. I went to both. And actually, I had a better experience at the community college because the classes were smaller, more English-speaking teachers, better resources, more connected to the community. We have a community college in Ohio, in the Northeast Ohio area, called Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College. I went there. I graduated from there. I also graduated from Kent State University and from Youngstown State University. I had good experiences at all three of them. The only reason why anybody would fail in school is because they're a failure, regardless of wherever they're at. And there's no excuse for failure. We're already failing, and there's no excuse for where we're at now. Excuses and solutions are very different. Excuses are dangerous. You want to see what solutions do? Oh, that's what's up, Cynthia. Yeah. Shout out to the 216-440-330. Hell yeah. The only reason why someone would fail is because they're not driven. It's your drive and ambition that makes you pass. There's some people that don't even go to college. They just had a drive and ambition. There's a difference between solutions and excuses. You want to see solutions? Look at somebody that's an entrepreneur that came up with a successful solution that the world needs. I'm in the Berg, but we close. I don't want to dox you or nothing like that, but T-Berg or Pittsburgh. My man Keith Weston says, shout out to Pittsburgh. Yeah, I used to live in Youngstown, bro. Shit, that's like 45 minutes from 45, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, between an hour and 15 minutes, 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. I don't live out there no more though, but that was close. You know what I'm saying? At least Youngstown. In Youngstown, they don't even sell like no Ohio, like no Cleveland stuff. All that starting in Warren, Ohio, man. That's Steelers town. Them people don't mess with the Cleveland Browns. People from Cleveland don't mess with the Cleveland Browns. They just go to see how many points we finna lose by and go fight somebody. She said, I don't do that Yens talk. That's hilarious. That's some Pittsburgh shit right there, that Yens shit. Hell yeah, man. I went to a party in Clarion before. I used to go shopping at Grove City. What y'all know about that shit? Shit. Man, I think I owe Easy Pass like $500 too. So look, so speaking of Pittsburgh, man, check this out. I got lost in the Appalachian Mountains one time. Like I made a wrong turn like on that Breezewood exit. And I ended up like in some like desolate wrong turn type town in the Appalachian Mountains and shit. Going down 77 East and shit. Or wait, 76 East. Yeah. Man, they had one of them old ass gas stations. Where you had to like one of them old gas silver aluminum gas station, like where the pump looked like a damn jukebox and shit. Y'all ever seen that shit? Them old ass gas pumps, and they had the Coca-Cola, like they had a big box, like a big crate full of empty Coca-Cola bottles and shit. Like it was some shit out of the 1950s and shit. And the houses was like 3 or 4 miles apart. I don't know where the hell that shit was. I was lost in that motherfucker with like no gas left. You know what I'm saying? When you see them jukebox gas stations, man, that's when you know it's some white supremacists around. You know, somebody sitting around with a musket waiting for some black people to show up. That's why we had to hurry up and get out of there. But see, we had turned because we was trying to get to Sheets, We were trying to get to the gas station off of 76, and I had made the wrong turn and shit, and we ended up in that damn cornfield and shit. We ended up in some damn cornfield in the Appalachian Mountains. And then we found the damn jukebox gas station. Yeah, I think they lived upstairs. I think the people, like, it was a 2-story gas station with an apartment upstairs, like in the only place on the street. And we seen the corner move over to the side. Yeah, they got a musket, bro. That's right by what y'all from Pittsburgh, man. Why y'all acting like y'all don't know? That's right by Harrisburg. That's all them motherfuckers do is Civil War reenactments. I was almost literally a movie. And I had my homie with me too. This cat big as hell, man. He like 6'5", completely tatted up. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6 feet tall, but I ain't tatted up. Yeah, y'all seen me on Just Talking. And at night, you know what I'm saying? The moon hits your boy the right way. I got about a good 5-second head start before they realize I'm black. I got like a good 5-second head start before they realize I'm black. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I had tinted windows in my car, so if I could have slipped into the door real quick, they wouldn't even known and shit. You know what I'm saying? I could have just sped off. But we ain't had no gas, so I couldn't speed off. I had to turn the car on with the air conditioning and all that shit off. It was that bad. Nah, but it was a rocking chair outside though. That gas station had a porch, bro. That's how you know I was in the boondocks. The gas station had a damn porch. Yeah, that's what they do at that city outside Pittsburgh. Harrisburg, man, they be doing them Civil War reenactments. Right by Hershey. I've been to the Hershey chocolate factory. People don't even know Hershey is out there. The gas station probably had an old dog. We probably had a big racist ass Rottweiler somewhere chained up to something. You know them motherfuckers crazy. The big black dog named the N-word that's racist as hell. Somebody coming out in overalls looking like Edgar on Men in Black and shit. Sugar and water. They always come out looking like that's who them motherfuckers that killed Ahmaud Arbery look like. It like 3 Edgars. Yeah, outside the city, you definitely in the boondocks. Yeah. What up with it, Abby? What's good? Now, see, I like the boondocks when it's enough distance where can't nobody see me and shit. I don't like being in the boondocks when I ain't got no gas in my car and I'm stuck at the white supremacist gas station. Yeah, dog, a big giant racist dog named Blackie. You at the gas station, everybody just standing there with a broom in their hand staring at you and shit. Can I get $20 on pump 10? And they don't even say shit. Just like children of the corn, just stick their hand out for the money. Okay. What's your dog's name? That motherfucker like about to take your head off and shit. After you ask what his name is, that motherfucker bark like a damn wolf. Oh, God. Damn. What's wrong with that dog? What's his name? Motherfucker just sitting there looking like that lady and that man with the pitchfork farmers on the damn picture and shit. Blackie. Who the fuck you talking to? That's the dog's name. Oh. Yeah. Motherfucker, you sure? Remind me of Izzy and Hill. Yeah. Did y'all know Izzy? Yeah, I don't even want to bring that shit up, man, because you know what I'm saying? That I don't even want to bring that shit up because rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? That dog got the crazy ass bark though. That's a nice dog. You go to pet it, that motherfucker like, "Rawr!" Like, damn. The fuck kind of dog is you? Drooling and shit. Yeah. That happened. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sad shit. Dog sounded like a damn Sentinel on X-Men and shit. Rawr! Damn. You feel the wind going across your face when that motherfucker bark? A lot of dogs named Blackie and Petey, yeah. Yeah. I'll text you, Bronze. I don't think it's what you think. Yeah, I knew some people that had some dogs named Blackie. I guarantee you that dog at the gas station name was Blackie though. And it was racist. Because I don't care what anybody say. It's a lot of racist ass dog. I ain't even had a chance to do my dog live stream yet. I'm dead serious. Hold on real quick. I'm finna show y'all. Wait a minute. Y'all got me off on a tangent and shit now. But I'm dead serious though. This live stream is coming. As soon as I get a chance. Hold on real quick. People be like, Rob, you antisocial as hell. You can't stand animals. Look, the role vicious dogs played in police brutality against black people. See, I told y'all. You know how them dogs be barking loud as hell, and you could just feel the wind, like you just sitting there and like, you know what I'm saying, like your hair blowing all back in your face, like damn. Okay, you the dog that's trying to be the king of the jungle. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Well, look at this. The role vicious dogs play in police brutality against black people. You know these motherfuckers be going to the store and they be buying black duct tape and putting it on their arm and shit so the dog will bite the shit out the arm. Here, bite this arm. If the arm looks like this, then bite it. It's not supposed to be here. Just racist. I mean, even the damn pets is racist. Like, come on. What's wrong with you people? You know what I'm saying? Even your pets are racist. That's why you get in so much trouble. That's why you get in so much trouble for killing a police dog, because you actually for real killing a race soldier. They mean that shit. Y'all be thinking I'm joking when I'm saying that shit. That's a trained animal race soldier. That's why you will get more time and you will get time. You can get life in jail for killing a canine police dog. They treat that motherfucker like a human because it's supposed to be a weapon against black people. And they make it so that they train the black dogs to be the most racist ones. That's how you know that they had something to do with the construction of coons. They always train them black dogs to be extra mean. And it's from treating them bad. You see like a white pit bull or like a golden lab or something like that. They always real nice and real docile. Man, you see a black dog, man, them black dogs be mean as hell. And that's because they be beating the shit out of them. I actually did a stream on that one time, man. About the about the quote common ancestor shared. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons I'm leery of animals, because even animals is victims of white supremacy, and they act like it. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy and shit, but I'm not, and I'll actually prove that shit. I'll actually prove it. Matter of fact, I already have. How many pictures have I showed y'all of the big game hunters? How they just go to these different places and kill all these animals and shit, and then be kneeling on them like how they kneeled on George Floyd. Like that, all of that shit means something. It's rituals. It's symbols. It's a show of force. Look at the zoo. They had us up in there with them. Sarah Bartman was at a human zoo. You know what I'm saying? And they think somebody's supposed to, we're not supposed to forget 9/11, but we're supposed to forget that white people had black people in zoos. Man, please. I wonder why Matt Walsh left that out of his conversation that he was having about Maj Touré. Yeah, I don't consider any animal my best friend. Facts. I don't trust animals. I don't trust anything that operates off of instinct. That's why I don't trust racists, because racism is nothing but a human instinct. I trust things that have some form of logical cognition, not people or organisms or anything that operates off of instinct. If you operate off of instinct, then you're going to go off of what triggers you. If a dog can have the best training in the world, but if it sees something that makes it snap, it's going to snap regardless of what. If you're a racist, you can put on the best act that you want to, but you're going to snap eventually. That's why people always say, just let them talk. They'll hang themselves. Because it's an instinct. You can't control instincts. Can't control racism. Racism is an instinct. Humans don't operate off of instinct. And that's how I feel about that. It's an instinct. And if it's not an instinct, then why is it about white survival? Because the basis of racism is white survival. It's about white prevention of genetic annihilation, which is a survival instinct. When we're supposed to be dealing with alleged evolved organisms, humans are supposed to be of a higher order, but you're still operating off of a primal, archaic survival instinct, like a damn lion or a tiger or a bear or an animal, which is one of the reasons why they love animals so much in pets, because it's something that can relate to. But they won't admit to that shit. Just admit that you need counseling. Just admit that you could use some time on a therapist's couch. You have some paranoia issues. You really think that other people being alive is a threat to your sovereignty, which is the most insane. It's the most insane rationale and the most insidious lie and excuse to try to harm people that has ever been conjectured. Yeah, you see how that works out every time they try. They're the only race of people that feels they have to exterminate everybody else to survive. It's not a joke. It's too repetitive for it to be a joke. It's literal programming. It's literal programming because they all suffer from the same delusion, which creates an extremely dangerous situation for non-white people. That creates an extremely hazardous situation for non-white people. It is extremely hazardous that someone can just snap into being genocidal because they believe that the genocide of others is the perpetuation of themselves. That is insanity. That is insanity. And it's what they're teaching their high school kids, is what they're teaching their children. Look at Peyton Gendron as an example, Ethan Cromley. These people are nuts. So now, anyway, the series draws on insights from a survey of 4,048 U.S. consumers conducted from April 6th to April 13th, as well as an analysis of other economic data. More key findings from the study include close to 2/3 of the U.S. population, approximately 157 million adults, currently live paycheck to paycheck, making it the main financial lifestyle in the United States. How about that? If you live paycheck to paycheck, don't be ashamed. Don't feel afraid. Paycheck to paycheck is the most common financial lifestyle in the United States. How do you guys feel about that? Yeah, they fight with themselves for who's the purest. It's insanity. Insanity. They fight with everybody about everything. They'll fight with white people about who's the purest, and then they'll turn around and go to Florida and come back with a little bit of a burn, and then just be comparing with you. Yeah, you see, I'm darker than you. I'm darker. You just everything, ain't you? You the purest white person. You're darker than an Ethiopian. I mean, shit. Y'all just every damn thing. You Jesus. You Cleopatra. You the damn Buddha. Shit. Yeah, everything. For the smallest motherfucking continent, that's not even a continent, y'all sure are every motherfucking thing on the damn planet. That shit crazy. Y'all Santa Claus, y'all the Easter Bunny. Y'all leprechauns. Y'all Egyptians. Y'all North Africans. Y'all Greek. Y'all Roman. Y'all Vikings. Damn. Was it anybody else here? Sheesh. Ryan Kennel up there talking about, and race swapping is not acceptable. Have you returned your Bible with the receipt for a full money back guaranteed in, Ryan? Have you returned rock and roll back to Jimi Hendrix with a receipt, Ryan? Right. So now here it says through lower incomes, or though lower incomes generally correlate with financial distress, 36% of consumers who annually earn $250,000 or more live paycheck to paycheck. Our data finds that in April of 2022, 36% of customers earning 100,000 to 150,000, 31 earning 150,000 to 200,000, and 26 earning 200 to 250,000 24% earning more than 250,000 were living paycheck to paycheck without issues paying their bills. Between 10 and 12% of consumers in these higher income brackets lived paycheck to paycheck with issues paying their bills. Credit scores strongly correlate with income, yet 1/3 of those earning more than $250,000 report average or below average credit scores. Now that's wild right there. I didn't know that. People making a third, so that's 33% of people making that damn much money have bad credit. That's off the hook. That's off the damn hook. Payments research finds that consumers' average credit scores tend to increase by income. 63% of those earning more than $250,000 a year report having an above average credit score. The average credit score for these respondents is 758. Yet our data also finds that 18% of consumers earning more than $250,000 a year report having an average credit score, while 13% report having a below average credit score. Why do they have a below average credit score making that damn much money? That's wild. That's wild. That's off the damn chain. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 22 live viewers. Shouts out to all the people watching. If everybody takes a moment and smashes that like button, you guys would have us at 49 likes, which would be awesome. We'd be 50% away from our goal of 100. So please make sure you guys smash that like button. Consumers earning more than 250,000 are 40% more likely to engage with financial products than consumers in the lowest bracket. So now this is what I was talking about how some of this expenditure from these people in this $250,000 bracket appears to be an expenditure, but it could possibly be investments. It could possibly be investments. So now here's my question, ladies and gentlemen. My question is, how do you not live paycheck to paycheck? How do you not live paycheck to paycheck? That's important. You don't want to be out here living paycheck to paycheck, ladies and gentlemen. Credit products are a cash flow management tool for paycheck to paycheck consumers, especially those in higher income brackets. You see? So they're using credit products as a cash flow management tool. Approximately 3/4 of consumers earning more than $100,000 have made a credit card payment in the past 3 months, with those earning between 200 and 250,000 most likely to do so. Higher income consumers have also made personal loan payments at an above average rate of 14%. To learn more about how paycheck to paycheck consumers in the top income brackets are faring in today's changing economic times, download the report. Now, we should check out this report. We should check it out. I'll be worried about downloading shit though. Shouts out to Abby for smashing that like button. See, Abby like it better on Twitch. A couple people said said that they like it better on Twitch. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, believe it or not, I've never actually watched from Twitch. You know what I'm saying? But I've heard it's cool over there. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know one thing, there's a lot of crazy people over there. You know what I'm saying? You know that's what they were streaming the Buffalo massacre on, was Twitch. You know what I'm saying? So I had another article that I was going to share with you guys. And it's called "The Number of Consumers Living Paycheck to Paycheck Has Increased Year Over Year Across All Income Levels." I want to ask you guys a question. Do you all think that this trend is going to continue, or is it going to end? Is it going to get better, or is it going to get worse? What are we looking at? We got the cost of living increasing, cost of transportation increasing, cost of real estate increasing. What we need to do is we need to draw a model. And with that model, it'll have component parts of your total income, and you need to break it down. And each part of that model, you need to have complete control over and be able to adjust it as you see fit. So what you need to do is you need to have a structured income where you can tweak things to fit the environment, because you remember what's important is your purchasing power, not so much your collection of dollar bills. One of the reasons why people get into these kind of situations is because if you're only working with dollar bills, you're going to get hit with all of the negative impacts of the economy and how it affects dollar bills. Remember, during inflation, there are certain things that perform better or worse than other things. You guys remember from those Ukraine videos, things that perform better than dollars, things that perform better than cash? What are those things? You guys recall? You guys remember? If you guys remember, list some of those things. Let me know. So now, my question is, why don't people use those to offset the damage that they incur from economic turbulence? Facts. Oil, gold, wheat, oil, gold, commodities. How do you invest in those? How do you save in those? How do you stack in those? Because the thing about those is that they're not liquid. So that means that it's going to be harder for you to spend them. But guess what? You'll still have the physical wealth. And when you have that physical wealth, it's a lot less affected by the effects of the economy. So how many people use a budget to manage their money? If you use a budget, give me a thumbs up. If you don't use a budget, give me a thumbs down. And if you do budget your money, what do you budget it for? Do you have a long-term or short-term goal with your budget? What is your goal? Does your budget have a mission? What's the mission of your budget? And if you don't have a mission for your budget, then my question is, why not? Why don't you have a mission for your budget? Why don't you? Now, how many people got a Gerber's life insurance plan for their kids? That's a place to start. How many people know how to buy gold? Never buy those gold certificates. Always only buy physical gold. Globe life. Facts. How many people know the difference between term life and whole life? Know what an annuity is, a perpetuity. Do you all ever pay attention to the amount of money that you spend, how much money or how much value or income you receive back from the dollars that you spend? Does anybody ever ask that question? Okay, I'm going to buy this. How much money is it giving back? How many people got an LLC so that they can treat life like a business and get a tax deduction on everything that you buy for your business of life? That's something that I need to do. I haven't done that, but you can do it. It's there. It's available. My goal is to eventually I want to set up an LLC for my YouTube channels. So that way, anytime I buy a computer, anytime I buy anything electronic, I'll be able to use it as a tax deduction. Everybody should do that. Do we take advantage of any of these things on a large scale? If we took advantage of these things, in my opinion, more people would know about them. People would talk about them more freely. I think that people should take advantage of these things more. People should also take advantage of the information that other people put out about their spending habits. Yeah, definitely do that, Keith. How many people pay attention to what other people are spending their money on? You should always be scanning the market for opportunities. You should always be doing a SWOT analysis. There should always be an ongoing SWOT analysis going. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We all know what each of those words mean. I'm glad you enjoy it, Cynthia. So, in my opinion, we should take advantage of this stuff. People need to do personal accounting for their finances. Pay very close attention to where your money goes. Pay very close attention to it. You should be reinvesting most of your money into yourself. Let me ask you guys something. How much money do you invest into yourself? When I say invest, I'm not talking about buying something that you might like. I'm talking about actually investing. I think an education, it depends on, what you use it for. And education could be considered a self-investment, but what else? There's some people that want to do hair. So they invest into a beauty chair, they invest into a cosmetics license, they invest into hair products. They invest into the tools that they need to build themselves up to begin the business that they want to build. How many of us do that? How many of us look at the sky like it's the limit? A lot of times people put a cap on their own success. And you know what that cap is? People a lot of times will say, well, they'll never let us get this far. They should never be a factor in your choice of how you plan to carve out your piece of the world. You just carve it out. You just carve it out and you own it and you take care of it and pass it down to your kids so they can build on it. Set up a trust. Make sure that you have power of attorney, a healthcare power of attorney, all your medical stuff in order. A lot of times that don't happen. Look at Kevin Samuels. I ain't even trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, throw dirt on Kevin Samuels, but like, look at that whole situation. I've seen a lot of situations like that. Yeah, living wills. Facts, Abby. All of those things are necessity things, and they're necessity things that some people find extremely important and other people don't want to waste the time with. But those are things that are going to be the start of generational wealth. People always talk about generational wealth, right? You know how you'll know when people are serious about wanting generational wealth? When people start understanding and utilizing trust funds and escrow accounts. But everybody talks about generational wealth and nobody talks about trust. Nobody talks about succession plans. Nobody talks about escrow accounts. Nobody talks about wills. Nobody talks about insurance. Nobody talks about passing down real estate. Nobody even talks about generational wealth goals. What's your generational wealth goal? For each generation, what percentage increase in wealth do you want your family to have over time? People don't even talk like that. When people start talking like that, that's when you know more people are serious. That's what I say. Like, when I'm talking about economics, if you broke down the entire GDP into sectors based on race, what percentage of the GDP do you think that black people would make? I bet you there might actually be a GDP chart broken down by race. GDP broken down by race. Let's see here. That's it. It doesn't look like that statistic is there. Disparities by wealth. Let me see. GDP, U.S. Bureau of Government. Gross domestic product by industry, by state, by county, metro, other area, by county, GDP for territories. That's interesting. They don't have GDP broken down by race. Disparities in wealth. Look at this. Look at this. Here goes something interesting. This is from the Federal Reserve. Look at this. Disparities in wealth by race and ethnicity in 2019 survey of consumer finances. This is good. We might have to do a whole stream on this. Look at this. Median net wealth. White families have more wealth than black, Hispanic, and other or multiple race families in the 2009 SCF. Median net worth. White people's median net worth looks like it's close to about $190,000. Look at how small blacks' median net worth is. Can you guys see that? So now if we compare this, right? If we compare this to that income bracket, right? That would put most black people in that 20,000 bracket that got hit with all that inflation. White people made money on the inflation. Look at this. Mean net worth. So this is mean. This is median, right? This is mean. This is average. Average net worth. Black is the lowest. Black is the lowest. Look at this. Black and Hispanic families experienced faster growth in wealth over the last two surveys after experiencing larger declines in wealth caused by the Great Depression. That's because when your wealth is zero, look at this. So, okay, so check this out, right? Black and Hispanic families experience faster growth. All right, so check this out. If a white person has $1 million in their savings and they increase their savings by $150,000, that's less of a percentage growth than a black person who has $1 to their name and then they find another dollar on the street. The black person just increased their savings by 200%. But it was only $1 to begin with. The white person may have increased their money by it might be like 1% with that $150,000, but it's 1% of $1 million. Doesn't look like Asian is even on there. They're included in other. So we're gonna have to talk about this. We're definitely gonna have to talk about this because I don't know what people's expectations are. I don't see very much content on YouTube that really talks about these economic issues when a lot of our issues are very economics intensive. And I honestly think that it's because people are just avoiding it. I don't know what it is. I don't know, if people are embarrassed or what. People don't know how to deal with it. I don't know. But just because, something makes you not comfortable or just because something doesn't look good, that doesn't mean that you just don't deal with it. My question is, when has there ever been an active effort to try to deal with any of these issues? I mean, like, do people see this as an issue? Is this an issue? These embarrassing income statistics? Look at this. Look at this. This is what we want to pass down to the next generation? Selfish. If this median net worth, quote, was indeed a race, we're in last place. So remember, Dr. Claude Anderson, he said that race is a team sport. Race is a team sport. So my question for people to ask is, how's our team doing? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section because that's the end of the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you already know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the video out. Make sure you hit the bell if you're not subscribed, and I will catch everybody on the next video. All right? Peace.